Hello everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chumps channel. Today I'm gonna show you a little cost saving hack that you can do for your Saberforge saber. So whenever you want to buy a lightsaber from Saberforge, there is this option where you can buy, for example, the Warrior Edition plug and play set, which basically means you buy the battery holder with a latching switch, and you buy an LED. That whole unit costs around $100 US. The benefit is it's plug and play, so you can plug and play it in any Saberforge hilt. Now, some of them are a little bit easier than others to plug and play these electronics inside because they're originally meant, of course, for the ASP line. But what you can do in most cases, buy an empty hilt, in this case an empty Saberforge Adept, $150. So what I can do as a benefit is I can buy a whole bunch of empty Saberforge sabers. I don't buy any electronics in them because a warrior upgrade for every saber would cost me $100 extra. I don't need a whole bunch of extra blades, chargers and whatnot. I just want to have the hilts, and I don't playing with every hilt at the same time, so having a plug and play kit for me is actually quite ideal, because whenever I feel like I want to spend time with a certain lightsaber for a while, I put the plug and play kit in there and I have a working saber. The benefit is it's relatively inexpensive if you take it across the board with a class and play set. The only thing is, with each order you might want to buy a few different LEDs, so yes, the price will rack up, but in the end you have a very flexible system, and that costs you maybe $300 total. And if you have 5 or maybe more Saberforge empty hilts, then you can imagine that is a lot of cost saving actually, compared to buying them all in a warrior tier. This also could apply for the champion tier plug and play sets from Saberforge, but I went for the cheapest options of the Warrior Edition. The additional benefit of the Warrior Edition is as well is that it's very small and compact, because the soundboard is not present, etc. So it's a very small little compact setup. There's no speaker, and that makes it a little bit easier and more flexible to put in a lot of different hilts. So let's go and start off with the Adept. So we're gonna put the electronics in there, and what we're gonna need is super glue, the hilt itself, an empty hilt of course, and then in this case the battery setup. The battery you have to get separately, and the LED unit, which I already put in here, and the latching switch in this case. And so let me just show you how that's gonna work. So have to be careful. So the LED unit I already put in the emitter section, I already put the retention screw in there. So now we're gonna get to the tricky parts where we're gonna fit everything in there. So I took away the red button from the Ezra Bridger lightsaber, and the reason for that being is otherwise the latching switch didn't fit through the narrow hole and didn't make the angle that it needs to make, because it has this 90-degree angle for this pin here, which is called a JST connector, if I'm not mistaken. And I got the super glue off screen. So first thing I want to do is put a dab of glue on this this thing here, so the button is fixed to the red part. And now you will think, hey, but then for every saber that I get and I need to super glue it, doesn't that mean that I have to buy a switch for every hilt that I buy? And that's correct. You should buy a switch for every hilt, and then you just fix that semi-permanent in place with, for example, super glue or something else. And the reason why I say that is because it's much easier to take the LED out and the battery holder versus the latching switch, because most of the time it will be fixed in a certain position on the hilt, and in certain cases like this it actually has a whole contraption as well. So that is that. One thing that I maybe should done better, now I just super glue this, is looked at the orientation of the JST connector, which of course I didn't do. So I'm gonna see how I want to have the button. I think I want to have it facing down, and and I show you guys how that's gonna look like. Excessive glue will be removed, of course. Yeah, let's see how I wanna have this part. So you can already see how it's gonna look like. I don't even have to glue it in the wrap part per se. I can just leave that like loose like this, because the glue already gives a little bit of a layer on top of the red, so it's gonna be very snug fit in there. So that's that. I can push it to the bottom if it's not super glued tight now. Luckily not. Okay, so that's that. We let it dry for a bit, for a few seconds, because I feel it's wet and I got the glue in my hands. Then we take off the pommel. Now this is a very amateuristic, easy way to explain it to you guys, because I don't want to make the video too long, and that is just not the intent of this whole video. So got the timing shims fall off, of course. Everything is super messy here. These timing shims are a bitch, by the way. I hate them from Saberforge. I just wish they lined up their stuff accordingly. Not make like this is a Saberforge Adapt, so it should come in this configuration. I don't care if you can buy these parts for ASP as well. It should just line up properly and being milled correctly instead of using these shitty time shims. I just hate them. I just don't like time shims. Anyway, put that here. Come on, stay. So now we're gonna put in the electronics, which is really easy, by the way. That's why I like this ASP system. It's just, you just put in the electronics, and they already have a little bit of slack on the cable, so yes, they will be a little bit longer than they need to be. Benefit is that it is flexible for a lot of different hilt lengths, etc. Saberforge using the same dimension for most of their hilts, so again, that's going to be easy. So stuff the battery in there. I'm going to put the pommel in there, and that's going to take a few seconds. You could also use this as a slide tutorial for if you bought an Saberforge ASP saber with a plug and play Warrior Edition. It gives you maybe a little bit insight on how to stuff the pieces together. So now we got a simple setup now. We're almost done. And now it's just a matter of connecting the switch through the hole here, and then the LED, screw it together, and then it's gonna work. And for that, I'm not gonna screw in the LED in this fashion, so I recommend you guys to do exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'll explain in a second why that is. Because the last thing you want to do is mess up your ASP Warrior kit by twisting the wires while you putting parts together. So okay, we're gonna start with the switch area. So this means we have to stuff the wires a bit here, and let me see how I wanted it. Maybe I just do it in the ankle forward facing, why not? So try to do everything on camera, guys. Okay, that's not really possible. Okay, I just noticed that the rep button needs to be in a certain position. Now I just put it forward, I don't know why. It's just a design choice, you could say, in this case. I'm gonna plug in the short end to the switch. You see it's straightforward here, and hopefully that's on camera. Okay, you need to be careful when you do this, because it's easy to mess things up. Come on, camera. Okay, so that's it. So that part is there. I just stuffed the cables a little bit in angle, so not too much. It must be still having a lot of space in on the wire, so it doesn't feel it does not bend the wires in a very tight angle. I try to limit it as much as possible while I'm stuffing all the wires. Yes, you will have this wire mess. That is inevitable. because this is an ASP kit, so the wires are not on the right length for this hilt. They're not. Okay, that is the flexibility of this whole ASP kit. So put on the LED. Okay, LED is on there. Okay, so now I'm gonna put almost everything together in a moment. Put the camera down. Again, guys, you can all fill it out the way you want it and do it your way, but this is just how I do it in this case. So timing shims down. Yep. Okay. Okay. Put the LED unit in there. Okay. Softly but surely we're getting together. And then I'm gonna put the emitter on there, but I'm gonna try to do it without rotating the LED unit. So keep the LED unit fixed and let the top part just turn into position. So I do it slowly. I shake it a little bit, making sure that that LED unit at all times is free floating inside this part. So make sure you never use the retention screw during this stage, because you will twist wires and break them. Shaking the LED units, keeping it separate from the walls of the inside of the hilt, so they don't turn with the emitter. Okay, that's it. And that's it. I put the retention screw in place. So LED unit is now fixed, and push the button and we have light. We have a working warrior tier. That's it. That's all to it. Nothing more, nothing less. All I needed was a dab of glue, a warrior tier, with a LED of the lightsaber that you find, for the LED for the color of the blade that you find most fitting with the lightsaber. So that whole set cost, the ASP warrior tier costs around $100. If you have multiple hilts, you can get multiple LEDs, so you can change out the color of the LED and have a different color blade. I would recommend buying a few of these latching switches, glue them into the hilt, because in most cases I feel like this is the most tricky part of the installation, with the tidying up of the emitter onto the LED unit, making sure that it doesn't twist and break the cables. The battery holder, the battery, you can always unplug them, replace them, put them in another hilt. This is a very good hilt for this scenario, because it's threaded in a few places. So you have an emitter section, you have a middle section, and you have a pommel. And a lot of Saberforge elite line sabers are in this configuration, so it's very easy to put your electronics in there, the ASP electronics, and have a cool saber. So this is gonna save me a lot of money, because now I can buy a whole bunch more of these stunt empty hilts from Saberforge, and I just have to use the same electronics every time. So since most of my sabers are shelf queens, I don't really need them all fitted out with electronics, and I think a lot of people will agree with that, and the money that I will be saving is going to flow back into buying more empty hilts. So I get a win-win situation here. So I hope you liked this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and see you later. Bye bye.